Okay, so I can't actually talk very loudly because Frankie got me up just before 6, no, maybe just after 6. Tom got in at 3 a.m. because he was on a night shift, and Frankie I had a coffee while feeding Frankie. Frankie fell asleep on his bottle. So everyone else is still asleep, but I've had a coffee, so I'm wide awake and there's definitely no going back to sleep for me. So I thought I would do my video without waking people up. So if I sound a bit weird, it's just because I'm trying to keep my voice down. Was I wearing this in my last video? Maybe I was. Anyway, I wanted to do a video on my Mommy MOT. I feel like I need to scoot back a bit, don't I? So a couple of days ago, I went and had a Mommy MOT. Now, if you don't know what that is, it is basically where you go and see a physio after you've had a baby, and they basically check everything. So they check for like ab separation, your pelvic floor, they check internally and things like that. I've been recommended it. Some programs, like training programs, won't touch you, like postpartum training programs won't touch you until you've had that and you've just been like given the all clear, because obviously like a lot of the time you could have had a prolapse, or you could have something going on and you actually don't know anything about it. Since having Frankie as well, I've also I think, and the physio sort of confirmed this, I think I've had like disassociation with down there. I felt very like just nervous, anxious all the time, been dreading like having to put like a moon cup in or anything like that. I'm breastfeeding and I haven't started a period yet, but I've just been like worried about it. I've just felt like knowing everything's fine but just scared of it, and I would say I completely disassociated from it. So if you're watching this and you've just had a baby and you're feeling like that, like just scared for anyone to go near you, let alone yourself, let alone your partner or anything, go and get a Mummy MOT, because that felt like it just gave me the all clear. Because obviously A, women's health isn't really spoken about, but B, you don't know what's going on inside, and sometimes you just need like a medical professional to just be like, hey, actually this isn't right, or like, hey, yeah, you're giving me all clear. Anyway, I did mine at the Nuffield, although I do know a lovely lady that normally does them, but she's on maternity leave, rude. So I'll drop her details in the box below, but I went to Nuffield. Anyway, went in, she was lovely, did loads of external examinations. So if you've ever had a physio examination, it was very typical to that. So they get you to like stand on one leg, get you to do a couple of jump squats, check your posture, that sort of thing. Did all of the usual, and then I laid down onto a bed and she checked my ab separation, and she was like, nope, absolutely fine. Slight more separation in the lower abs, but other than that, all good. And that, I guess that makes sense, doesn't it? Like, I find I've done a lot of core rehab, but I find it easier to do the upper, and like the lower abs are just like harder to bring in together, I think. So yeah, she was absolutely fine with that. My pelvic floor, like externally, absolutely fine. She was just like, yeah, fine, blah 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 blah. And I had been doing rehab stuff since maybe like week 5, so I'm really proud of myself for doing that, because that's clearly helped. Then she said about an internal examination, and it was one of those that was like a catch-22. It took me by surprise because I wasn't expecting it, but I really wanted one, but I was too scared to book one. So in my 6-week check at the doctor, they didn't give a crap. They didn't make me feel like I could ask them anything. It was literally just all about Frankie, and then they asked like, am I okay? Is home life okay? Great, cool, yep, all good, see you later. Like, there was not once that I felt like I could be like, hey, can I just ask you about this? So the fact that she was doing an internal examination made me feel really scared, because I was like, I don't want you to go with me. But it was also one of those that I was like, no, I actually really want this, like I need this, because I know it's going to put my mind at rest. So I signed another consent form, and she did an internal examination, and it was quite sensitive up there. Like, she was like, how does that fit? I was like, well, it doesn't hurt, but like I can feel it, and it does. She was like, is that a normal sensation? I was like, I don't know, I can't remember, but I don't think so. And she felt around and she was like, I think what you've got, we did some more pelvic floor testing, and she was like, yeah, it's all really good. She said, if anything, I need to learn to relax some more, which we all know that anyway, because I'm like quite tight and I hold on and then I don't like fully let go. So she was like, it might actually be more beneficial of me just practicing that like, and just like letting go of it rather than sort of like clenching all the time. And I was like explaining, I think I clench a lot because I'm nervous. Like I'm nervous something's gonna fall out. And she was like, no, you've got no prolapse, you've got nothing, like it's all good, but you do have some inside, like scar tissue inside, which is apparently normal. Like I ripped slightly, just had like a couple of tears, and I think that's because he came so quick. And she was like, you know, like if you tear on the outside, it's like you're gonna tear on the inside. Like that's really, really normal. But she thinks that's what's making me feel scared. So she suggested some like lots of stretching, potentially a massage. I'm actually going to look into going to see someone for like internal scarring. See whether a few people have recommended a couple of like physio, like women's health type people. So I'm going to look into it. I don't know what I'm going to do. Other people have recommended like castor oil and things like that. And then she just recommended that I started to get more familiar with my body again because of that de-association. So yeah, I mean, it was fantastic. And she said, I said, so am I like good to go with training? And she said, yeah, obviously slow it down, like build it up, like don't go all in. And yeah, just like really focus on your breathing, do a lot of your pelvic floor work, but really focus to like calm to relax, focus on relaxing. And it's helped me so much. My mum's texting me. It's helped me so much in the sense of like, I know I'm okay now, whereas like before, I'd maybe go on a walk, or I'd do my walk run, or I'd go to the gym and be like, oh, but what if I'm not okay? Whereas now I've been given the all clear and it's all fine. And also what I loved about it was the fact that she said to me, she like made me, what's the word, like, she made me feel normal in terms of the disassociation, because I was like, I can't let Tom go anywhere near me. Some of my friends, they were like, oh yeah, I waited 8 weeks. I'm like, this is 4 months. Like, I'm so scared. I don't feel right. I don't feel like myself. I'm too scared to go. Like the thought of like going, even like looking in the mirror and checking if I'm okay myself freaks me out, because I don't know what I'm going to see. And she was like, it's totally normal. You just need to build up that association. She was like, in a way, like you've gone through a bit of a trauma. So like, just take your time, slowly build it up, and like get familiar with yourself again. So, I don't know. It was great because A, I got given like the medical sign off. B, she made me feel normal. But C, it's one of those, and I think I spoke about it in my last YouTube video actually, that's like, oh, like the research and like the apprehension of like what the medical professionals gonna tell you is the easy part, but now they've told me and I'm like, oh, now I've got to action it. Now I've got to get like familiar with myself and like overcome those hurdles. So yeah, if you're in the position to, so it cost me £85, so I'm aware that that's not applicable and not achievable for everyone, but if you are in the position to be able to do it, I would really recommend it, just for that peace of mind and to just feel a little bit normal, just get yourself checked. And actually I'm really glad it was quite a long waiting list, so I'm really glad I waited. So he's now 4 months. I'm glad I waited that long because it felt like a good amount of time for me to like heal a little bit more and then like understand where my body is a little bit more. So then I was like, okay, actually yeah, that is that bit normal, or like, whereas I feel like if I'd had it done really early, anything could happen between then and now. So it might have been like a little, you know, like your body's still healing quite a bit. Whereas I felt like 4 months was quite a good amount of time to wait, even though I had no choice anyway because of the waiting list. So yeah, that was my Mommy MOT, and now the game plan is to, yeah, she really taught me how to do my pelvic floor properly. Now the pelvic plan. Now the plan is to do more of my pelvic floor, try and relax a little bit more. I'm actually going to try and reduce my caffeine a little bit, so I just feel a little bit anxious, but that's for a different video. And just try and relax a little bit more. But it's really exciting because I've now started working with my coach Dan to like try and get me back to some form of level of training. So yeah, it feels really positive, and it's always nice to know that I haven't prolapsed, my abs are fine, and my pelvic floor is fine. So yeah, that's my video on the Mommy MOT.